Well, good evening. Welcome. Week 2. It's cooking demonstrations for this lot. Now look. It's on, mate. It's on. Yep. My mic is on. They disagree with me. Well, they can all hear me, so. No? Oh, don't sneeze. I did, I thought. All right, try that again, right? Now listen, I wasn't here last week, so is anyone here today that wasn't here last week? All right, great, welcome. And I'm really excited because we've been doing this for a long time. A lot of you also know about the little health food shop that's downstairs. So I'm not sure if I should let the cat out of the bag, but there's some developments happening. So let me just say that we'll be moving out of the little room to a bigger area, and that's going to be really exciting. So anyway, I got ahead of myself, but welcome tonight. As you know, this is a community service that we put on behalf of what we call Elim Health, which is a bit of a health education organization. And we love to talk about food, we love to eat, and we love to also want to share information about how to be healthy. So tonight's lecture, we have a special speaker tonight who none of you, I think, have met. She is my wife. And my wife, Danica, studied complementary medicine and has worked in sort of natural health. But her real claim to fame is she's a mom, and we have children, and she's been really working with specific health needs and some of the issues with our children. And so she spent the last 10 years constantly researching in things that will really be of benefit to everybody. That she's just, that's really her claim to fame. So I would like you to welcome Danica, and she's going to take us through something about a secret ingredient to health. So really looking forward to seeing what she has tonight. Darling?
Well, tonight's topic is a topic that I'm very excited about, and hopefully you will be too by the end of it. To start off with, I want you to see if you can find a common link through some pictures I'm going to share with you. This first picture is, do you know what plant this is? Any gardeners here? It's a zucchini plant. That's my little boy there. Now this zucchini plant, we put a lot of compost underneath the zucchini plant, and it did really well. It grew and it grew and it grew. It actually grew like at least this long, and there were zucchinis coming out of either side of it. And that's one zucchini plant kept us in more zucchinis than we could deal with. But the following year, I didn't put the effort into the compost, and I had 8 zucchini plants without any compost, just in the ground. Would you believe it? We didn't have as many zucchinis from 8 plants as we did from 1 zucchini plant that was growing in compost. Isn't that amazing, the power of compost? Now, how does that relate to our health? Any idea? Does it seem a little strange? Well, what was that? Yes? Yes. Now, can you guess where this picture's taken from? There's people there, see the mountains there in the background? The Hunzas, that's right. These people, do you know anything about the Hunza people? They live a very long time and they're very healthy. They don't have the health problems of Western society. Well, how do they eat? What's their secret? They eat a very simple diet from the land. They don't eat refined products. Here we have another group of people. Do you know where this lady might be from? Japan, a little island just off Japan called Okinawa. And they are known for their longevity. And you know what they eat? Sweet potato, that's their staple thing, sweet potato. I was thinking about that and I was like, they don't eat a lot of rice even, like Japanese. They eat a bit of rice, but sweet potato is their staple. So I was thinking, I need to make sweet potato bread. If I can make sweet potato bread, we can have the Okinawan diet. But they eat a lot of the vegetables from the ground, a lot of berries. They eat meat, but in tiny amounts. It's like a special thing. So their bulk of their diet is lots of vegetables and berries, and they have some good foods like some good fermented foods like sauerkraut. They have a very good simple diet with no refined products. And it's not their genes, because guess what's happening in the cities and the people that are changing from the traditional diet? They're not living as long as their parents, and they've got all the same health issues that Western society has. So there's a key ingredient missing there. They've gone back, they've left the simple ways, and they are eating more processed foods. Now I want to get back to the garden. What's the difference between these soils? What looks like the one here on the right, what does that look like? A nice compost soil, doesn't it? What about the soil on the left there? Looks dry and lifeless. You know, our insides can be the same as that, depending on what we feed it. So we have, actually let me just get back to go to the next slide. Here we have in the soil, for the minerals to get into the plant, we need good bacteria. And the bacteria digests the minerals and then it can go into the plant. But plants grown on ground that doesn't have that good compost, they don't have the same nutrients. So there's much higher nutrient content in compost grown fruits and vegetables. And that's why they grow so much better and there's a lot less disease. But what does this mean for our body? Here we have, food goes into our digestive tract, and along our digestive tract we have bacteria. Now we've kind of, for quite a few years, you know, you want to get rid of bacteria. Bacteria is all bad. It's, you know, you get the soap, you get all the cleaning products to get rid of bacteria, but actually there is good bacteria and there's not so great bacteria. So we want to have the balance. On the left here you see that picture, that's actually in the intestines, and on the right hand side you have a healthy bacterial growth, and you can see it's a thicker mucosa lining on top of the intestine, and on the left hand side, sorry, I'm getting right and left mixed up. So right hand is the healthy side, left is the not so healthy side, and you can see there's a lot less bacteria and the mucus lining is a lot thinner. And when you think about bacteria in our intestine, it's like there's turf wars going on. You want to have bacteria covering the intestinal lining with the good bacteria, so your weeds, so to say, your bad bacteria don't take over. So you want to have your turf well covered with good bacteria. Living inside your gut alone, there's 300 to 500 different kinds of bacteria. So as I was researching this, and I've been researching this for at least 10 years, but I was doing extra research this last week, you feel like someone on the seashore just looking at the different sands around you, because there's so many bacteria and there's so many things they do for our body. But we're going to try and cover some of those things and what you can do to help them grow better. How many bacteria do we have? Do you see that number? What's the number we have up there? Just on one person we have 39 trillion bacterial cells in the body. That's more cells than you have in your body. You have more bacteria than actual cells. So they're a very important part of our body system that we need to understand. There's different kinds of bacteria or flora. It's like an inner garden growing inside of us, or an outside too. Skin is part of it. So the beneficial flora should make up about 85%. And they do many good things, which we're going to talk about what things they are. Then we have the opportunistic flora, which is the not so great ones, and we want to keep them to a minimum. They're like it's like if you've got a school and you've got mainly good kids and just a few not so great ones, the good kind of overrule. So you want to keep that balance. Then you have transitional flora. Have you noticed how some people can go somewhere and get sick, and the person who's travelling with them may not? So two different people, same situation, one person gets sick, the other one doesn't. You can even have people go to the same restaurant, one lot of people get food poisoning, the other don't. These are determined by bacteria and things like stomach acid, which deal with those things, the flora or the different bacteria that are coming through. Role of beneficial bacteria or the flora. Look at this list, isn't it amazing? They help absorb our nutrients. That's why not two different people will need different nutritional intake. One supplement's not going to necessarily do the same thing for everyone because their bacterial fingerprint is different. They grow nutrients. A lot of B vitamins are grown. They feed the villi. So there's this, they take a food we're going to talk about a little later, digest it, and then the byproduct of that feeds the villi and helps the intestine to be healthy. They make antibiotics to protect from invading bacteria. So when we destroy our own bacteria, we are destroying our internal antibiotics, which know about things before we know. So we can deal with things much faster if our own internal bacteria is doing well. Keep a balance. They affect brain function. Something like depression can be related to what's going on down here. That's what they're finding out. A lack of ability to sleep at night or different things like that, it can be bacterial. They regulate our cravings. So when we eat a lot of processed food, a lot of the certain bacteria that feed off processed food, they grow, they proliferate, and then they make us want to have more of that kind of food. So we actually need to make a choice and think, well, what's healthy for me? And then as you change your eating habits, your bacteria will change what grows, and all of a sudden you'll feel like, after you've made that logical choice in your brain to eat right, you'll actually start craving healthy food. Something I've experienced, and it's a really good, regulates bowel movements, of course. Most people know that, it's important. And it's our immune system. 80% of our immune system is actually down here in our gut. What things damage our bacteria? Well, you all know antibiotics. They are very good, they are needed, but I think they're often, well, medicine's recognising that they're overused. There's so many times, there's simple home remedies you can do that antibiotics are not necessary. So in a life-threatening situation, yes, do antibiotics, but think and talk to doctors are becoming more aware of this, to not use them as often. Household chemicals, we're there to kill and destroy everything, but we're destroying the good and the bad. So maybe let's go back to old-fashioned things like some vinegar and essential oils and not use so many chemicals in our homes. Chemicals in our food. Organic food actually promotes the growth of good bacteria, but a lot of chemicals on our food affect that of the bacterial again. I watched a TED talk this week, which was fascinating. How when we close up the windows, keep it all and circulate the air, the bacteria that we breathe out is just circulating around. We need to open up, let the sun shine in, the fresh air, and that bad bacteria goes out and good stuff comes in. So get those windows opened up. Eating a refined diet. I'm going to talk a little more about that. So there's different things that it's related to. People can go on diets trying to lose weight, but it could be something down here that they can work on, some simple things. Diabetes, mental health problems, simple things. Anxiety can be related to your gut bacteria. It's cutting edge, and there's so much stuff out there, and it's amazing. And to me, there's things I've known about for these years, simple things you should do, and now science is showing why. Like I always knew you should open the windows. Now I know why. Science is showing why you should open the windows. So we're learning. I thought this was interesting. The gut microbes are capable of producing and delivering serotonin. And then here I've got a list of things that serotonin deficiency can lead to. Depression, anxiety, panic attacks, insomnia, irritable bowel, hormonal dysfunction, fibromyalgia, obesity, eating disorders, obsessions and compulsions, muscle pain, chronic pain, alcohol abuse, migraine headaches. So this list can be from something really simple, but we're going to see how we can help this simple factor. And deficiencies. It's amazing. Vitamin D, calcium, vitamin E, but often iron is the big one. Most people, so many people I've met, iron is, have got iron problems, but actually they can have iron lots of iron supplements, all kinds of things, trying to rectify the problem, but actually the more iron they're getting, it's not really helping because they've got a core problem going on here. They need to address what's going on in their gut. Illnesses that can be related: increased risk of cancer, diabetes, arthritis, depression, insomnia, things like other pathogens like maybe streptococcus or candida, if you've heard of that, fungal infections. You need to work on getting your healthy flora growing and more of that good stuff covering your turf. Problems in children, different mental health problems, and aging. None of us want to age, right? This is an interesting thing that these long-lived people, they have some healthy gut bacteria. They've found that in the studies. How do we get our gut bacteria? It's very interesting. When we're born, when we go through the birth canal, we actually get the gut bacteria that our mother has. So what she has, she gives to us. If she's done a whole heap of antibiotics and she's struggling with problems, well, she passes that on. And that's why I think over the years, we're having more and more problems. We're destroying a lot of that bacteria and we're giving our children less of a good birthright. And then that is your birthright for life, what your mother gave you at birth. So these older people back from 100 years ago, they've got more diversity and can actually handle more things than the younger generations, and we're getting more illnesses due to this. The milk we were fed, if we were breastfed, or what formula, that all affects it. Then the diet that our parents chose to give us in those early years, and then the diet we chose over the years, and the environment that we live in. Like if you have mold around your house, you actually breathe that in, and it affects your insides. So I learnt that the hard way. You've got to be careful about your surrounds and keeping things clean and the right things growing. Can it be changed? It's very hard. There is a way you can do it, and I'm not sure that most of you'd like to do it, but it's called a fecal transplant, where they get someone else's stool and they put it inside of you. That's the way you can change your microbial fingerprint. So, not keen on that option, but it does work for people who are in trouble. But we can manage it by the way we feed it. Certain foods feed different bacteria. I was looking up one that is a big problem is streptococcus. And I was looking at what feeds streptococcus. Eggs and milk and dairy products. It thrives on those things. Where there's certain, so depending on what we eat, which one grows the strongest. And I was looking for a certain picture. I didn't quite get it, but I want you to imagine this with me. You have a nest with several chicks. And sometimes this happens where one chick always gets the food and that chick grows bigger. So that's what happens in our digestive system. What you eat determines what bacteria is going to grow the largest. So here's some interesting studies from the Georgia State University. Bacterial population in mice shrunk by 90% on a low-fibre diet. They developed chronic inflammation after a few days. They had weight gain and higher blood sugar levels observed after a few weeks. There's also pictures which I should have probably included, but their intestines shrunk. It was amazing. Then also from the University of Gothenburg, Sweden, they switched mice to a low-fibre diet similar to fast food, fat, sugar, high protein. There was a shift in the flora. Common bacteria became rare and rare species became common. There was physical changes. The intestines became smaller and the mucus layer thinner. That mucus layer protects your intestines. When it becomes thinner, you end up with something called leaky gut. Some of you might have heard that, where food particles can go in through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream and cause an autoimmune response. Something that's becoming quite common and a problem nowadays. So here we have some fibre content, whole versus refined. Here we have wheat. See the difference? There's whole wheat here and refined wheat. Isn't that huge? What do people typically eat? How many people have 100% whole grain wheat? It's not something that's had often because we crave the refined products because we've gotten used to eating that way. There's rice. See, it's almost half. And then potatoes with their skins off is not quite so bad. But you think of what people eat, or the typical diet. You know, might be Wheat Bix for breakfast and some pasta for lunch, or some sandwiches, or some white pasta, or mashed potatoes. Do you leave your skins on in the mashed potatoes? Nobody really does that, right? So how much fibre are you getting in the typical diet? Not very much. But there's some simple things that you can eat that have lots. What's that longest one there that has lots of fibre? Can you see that one? Chia seeds. Isn't that amazing? You don't need to have a lot to get a fair bit of fibre. But you look at all these, there's sweet potatoes. These all have nice, good, healthy range. And look at avocado. Who would have guessed avocado is a good source of fibre? That's an effortless way to get some fibre down. But looking at this list, what does this say to you? The typical, a lot of times we end up, these are our staples. Wheat, rice and potatoes, they're your staple things. But if we start eating a mix more of these things, we're going to be getting a lot more fibre. Particularly something we should eat on a regular basis if we're vegetarian, which I hope most of us are because it's a good diet, is the legumes. I've listened to a few plant-based doctors talk about how you should eat a legume every day. Is that hard? No? It's not, is it? And there's so many legumes. Think of them. Can you name some off for me? What are the legumes? Lentils? Peas? Split peas? There's chickpeas. Think of all the colours of beans. There's black beans, there's the red kidney beans, there's the brown veloute beans, lima beans, soya beans, beans. So that you could have at least one legume every day. And it's hearty and it's got lots of good fibre for you. And guess who'll be happy down here? Now, the one word of warning though, when you're transitioning, probably do it slowly. Because as your gut bacteria is taking over the turf area and the good stuff's growing, you will probably have a little more wind, but as you adjust, you're going to have less of it. It's not going to be a long-term problem. And there's ways to prepare legumes in a way that will cause less wind, but it is something good to have on a regular basis. It replaces your meat, and it's a great source of fibre and keeps that bacteria down here really happy. Now, you might think at the end of this we will be fibre counting. You know how there's calorie counting? We're going to start fibre counting, right? Not quite. I don't think of it quite that way. I just think, let's eat variety. Let's eat all the good, wonderful food God has given us. But let's stop eating so much refined food. Stop having that white rice, the white flour, and let's have whole brown stuff. Let's get that fibre in there because as you change your way of eating, you're going to actually enjoy it. And you'll feel good down here. You're going to start feeling wonderful. You're going to have regular bowel movements. As you're drinking enough water and getting enough fibre, it will be going through and your head will be clearer. You're going to feel better all over and all these illnesses. Do you want to have cancer, arthritis, diabetes, all these things that are linked to low fibre diet just because of a bite that you enjoy? For 30 seconds of enjoyment while it goes in your mouth, that low fibre diet. Why not change our taste buds and enjoy fibre? I've experienced it. I really have, and I encourage all of you to start making those health food choices. Maybe have white flour. Why don't you make it once a year for your birthday instead of every day? That's what I want to challenge you. Cut back on that white flour because you're feeding the not so great guys down there who are causing you all these problems. Do you really want them to take over your internal turf when we have these refined products? I don't want candida and I don't want streptococcus growing in here. You know, streptococcus gets in our lungs and causes pneumonia. These things are that I don't want them taking over. So let's just cut back on these refined products, eat brown, eat whole foods, and let's live long like the Hunses and the Okinawas with good health and not struggle in our old age. So let's change that 30-second taste bud experience so we enjoy good stuff. And isn't this beautiful? Let's have a good, healthy garden growing like we have in our gardens outside. Let's have a good, healthy garden growing in here that produces good results. And I really hope you'll be challenged to make these changes and stick with them, but they're well worth it. You'll notice huge results. And next week, we're going to talk, can you see all the colours in that? It's supposed to be very colourful. Green? Oh. Well, that's supposed to be red in there. I was going for colour, but it doesn't show through. Next week, we're going to talk about the colours in our food and what they do for us and how we can incorporate them into our lifestyle. Don't you think that'll be a fun topic? You all coming for it? Oh, good. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thank you for listening, and hopefully there'll be some big changes with everyone.
Thank you, darling. All right. Fiber, right? Feed your bugs. I grew up thinking that bugs were to be killed, not to be nourished. So there's been a shift in thinking, these days, with probiotics and all of that sort of thing. Now, I'm looking through the menu today, and I'm seeing fiber everywhere. Are you seeing that? Chickpea tofu, black bean enchiladas. Let's see, with all sorts of great ingredients in there. We've got chia in the menu as well. So I think we're going to have our fiber tonight. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen any movement here, but we're ready for the ladies to come out. What's the time? Oh, yes. So, have you been all right? Yeah? It's good to see everyone here tonight. Like I said, I wasn't here last week, and I had to be overseas, but it's good to be back, and always love to get here and meet all of you and talk about the food and everything. So we got some new faces since last season, yeah? Let's see, who was here last season? Just raise your hand. I can recognize you, but okay, good. So good. So about 2/3 of you coming back since last season. Fantastic. All right, Rosetta, what's up this time?
Hello.
Hi. Which one are we up with?
We're doing the chickpea tofu.
The chickpea tofu. Fantastic. Are you ready to roll?
I am.
All right, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Can you hear me? Okay. Let's go. Today, first up, I found that sometimes some people don't like tofu. Is that correct? Some people can't tolerate tofu. That's another thing. So we're doing something different. We're making a tofu, but we're making it with chickpea flour. Besan flour. So it's similar. It comes out like a silky tofu rather than a hard one. Is that water boiling yet? Okay, so what we're going to do is very, very quick and easy, okay? This one is really simple, really, really simple. I'm sorry, some of the people can't see me. All we've got is 4 ingredients. Very quick and easy, and it tastes good too. First is chickpea flour. You buy it in the supermarket, anywhere. If you can't find it, if you're at home and you think, oh, I wanted some of that, thanks, Amy. You can, if you've got a good blender, you can actually put chickpeas in your blender, the dry ones, garbanzo beans, they're called as well. Chickpeas, you can put them in your blender and you can make it up that way. Just put it in your blender and blend up the chickpeas and you'll get chickpea flour, if you've got a good fast blender. If not, you can buy it in the supermarket. So it's just a matter of chickpea flour. And that was 1 cup of chickpea flour, 1.5 cups of water. Firstly, the whole recipe is 3 cups of water. How much have I put in? A little bit more. Sorry, we're doing a juggling act here. And the other half of the water, 1.5 cups. We're going to bring to the boil. I've just preheated this so that it doesn't take so long. I'll move that back out of the way. Turn him on. Now, it's just a matter of adding the chickpea flour to the water, a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of turmeric. And that gives it really nice colour. We just mix it up just to get all the lumps out so it's nice and smooth. Doesn't take long at all. And then what we have to do is we have to wait for the water to boil. Once the water's boiled, I want someone to get ready with their phones to give me 8 minutes on their timer. Someone got a phone out? I'm going to start very soon. Oh, that's nearly boiling now. Yep, started. Okay, ready? Someone's got a timer? Someone have a timer? 8 minutes, thank you. So this is quick and easy. This is all it is. It's just mixing the ingredients together, putting them with the boiled water. It's just like making polenta, really. 8 minutes on the stove. I'll turn that down a bit so it's not too high. And in the meantime, Amy, leave the spoon and that, thanks. Amy will start the next one while I'm going to be sitting here and mixing this. 8 minutes. It becomes thick and it becomes very smooth. It comes like a custard practically. It's already starting to get thick. And if you don't mix it continually, it'll bubble and burn and, so you need to just keep mixing it so it doesn't bubble over. Yes, you can take over.
All right, good evening everybody. How are we tonight? That's good. I'm just going to pop this behind you. All right, who here enjoys Mexican food? Yeah, that's good, because tonight you're in luck. We've got a beautiful black bean enchilada to show you. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Let me just get all the different things I need. Okay. Now first up, we have pre-cooked beans. So we used dry beans from downstairs, just boiled them in water until they were soft. If you don't want to go through that process, it can be a process. You can just buy them in a tin. So it's just as easy. We actually sell this one downstairs in the shop, so I'll just pop that there. But we also sell the dry beans downstairs as well. So if you want the black beans and do it all from scratch, go ahead. So first up, we're going to put our 2 tablespoons of olive oil into a pan. So yeah, if you're not cooking the beans, this is your first step. If you're cooking the beans, cook the beans first. Okay? So we put our 2 tablespoons. Let me just turn this on, sorry. Oh. I'll start a fire in here. Hopefully not. Okay, so we're going to put our 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we have 1 onion, medium-sized onion, just diced into that olive oil. Here we go. And you're going to pop your garlic in there as well. And that's 2 cloves of garlic. Okay, give that a stir. And that's just going to brown up a little bit and soften. While that's happening, you can get your other ingredients ready. Give it an occasional stir so you don't burn the onions. So this is a quick, easy family dinner night. It's quite tasty too. So we're just going to fry up the onion and the garlic. How's your arm going?
It's good. I'm not alternating.
Okay, so give that a quick stir. Did anybody try the recipes from last week? Did we make anything from last week? One hand down there, yeah? Beautiful. I'm glad that some people are trying them at home. They're very easy recipes, so. Okay. So that you can almost, well, I can't really lift it up, but it's getting there. It's getting see-through. So to the onion and the garlic, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cumin powder, or there's a few ways to say it. I'm probably saying it wrong, but you add that into the onion and the garlic. Okay. Give it a quick stir. Then you're going to add your beans. So that's 2 cups of beans plus half a cup of bean water. If you're putting the 2 tins of beans, you just put all the water, the beans, the water, everything in. Okay? Give it a quick stir. And you add your diced tomatoes. So if you don't have diced tomatoes, if you don't want the tomato chunks in it, you can just put a tomato puree. That's fine too. 1 tin of diced tomatoes in there. Give it a bit of a stir. Oops. Pretty easy so far, huh? And I can already smell that going. So then you just kind of let it go, bring it to the boil, and let it simmer for a little bit while you get your other things ready. So you're going to get your coriander ready, your cheese. Now we've used the vegan cheese from downstairs, just grated it up, but you can use whatever cheese you like. We've got our chili, so if you like it spicy, put more in. You can also put cayenne pepper in here. We didn't. We thought we'll leave it kosher, but depends on your taste buds to see how much chili you actually want in there. Some people love a lot, others don't love any. My husband doesn't like any, so we've put a little bit in there tonight, so hopefully it's going to be enough. So while that's cooking on the stove, get your chili. If you don't want it quite as hot, don't put the seeds in it. If you want it hot, put the seeds in it. It's completely your choice. I'll just quickly de-seed it. Okay. 48 seconds to go. Here she goes. All right, just dice up your chili. And we're just going to get it ready. There we go. Right, just pop that to the side. You can also dice up your coriander, get your cheese ready, get your dish ready. And I'll just give you over Tiny Row. And whoa. And she'll talk about the next bit.
Do you want
Okay, one thing I didn't do, which I should have done, was oil the pan I'm putting it in, okay? So I'll do that first.
You just pop that in there for you. How's that?
Okay. You want to do that for me, please? And the sides as well, because that's all. Not too much. And then it's just a matter of pouring it into your mould. This one's a bit bigger than what it says on the recipe. The recipe says 20 by 20. This one's a bit larger. It just means it's going to be thinner, that's all. And I'll show you at the end. Oh, I should have put it in a much smaller one. This one's, because the one I made earlier was 2 cups. This is just the 1 cup. Anyway, we won't do it all the way to the side. It's going to be very... And that's it, and you let it sit. You let it sit for at least an hour, and it'll set. The longer you keep it, the firmer it'll become. And it becomes... Did you try it? What did you think? Is it okay? Like, it's got a bit more taste than what tofu does, so you can actually eat it straight. But anyway, hopefully we can give you some more recipes later on using this tofu, what to do with it. We're actually quite excited. We thought maybe we can make it sweet too and make it like a pudding or something. Anyway, we'll stay tuned.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. I'll let that sit. Yeah. You're back again.
Back again. All right. Okay, so these beans are done nicely. Now, for some reason, I don't know if it's the stove, but it's kind of taken up quite a lot of the liquid. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more liquid in there and just stir it around. Just to get that a little bit, because we need add a little bit liquid because we need the juice. So I've added that to it. Now, when that mixture's done, we're just going to strain the beans. And just try to get just a little bit of the juice out. We don't need too much. So just give it a mix in your colander. Is there any juice coming out the bottom? Ooh, a little bit, not too much, but that's going to be enough. No, it's off. Stove is off. Okay. Well, here comes the taste test, so I hope you enjoy it. Just quickly, we've served it with a little side salad. So in the side salad, we're not demonstrating that, but it's got tomato, onion, avocado, and corn. And then we've just seasoned it with olive oil and salt. So nice and simple. And the cream on top is sour cream, and we have demonstrated that before. If you would like the recipe, just speak to one of the ladies, and I'm sure maybe next week we can arrange that sour cream recipe for you. Okay. Oops. Right. How is it? Good. Okay, so the sauce, we're going to put that aside. Okay, and pop all the bean mixture in. And to that mixture, we're going to add the coriander, which is about half a cup of coriander. We're going to pop our grated cheese in there. Yeah, that and our chili. Now cheese, we've got about 230 grams, but if you want more in, you can put more in. If you don't have that much at home, you don't have to put that much in. So just mix all of that together. And that's the filling for your enchilada. Can you taste the chili, or did I not put enough in it? Not enough, there we go. So by all means, when you're doing this recipe at home, add whatever chili you like. So that's our mixture for the middle. So we're going to get a pan, and we're going to pop some of the sauce down the bottom and just spread it out. Almost like a lasagna. You can say it's almost like a Mexican lasagna. And we've got some corn tortillas. These ones we bought from Woolworths, just in a packet. But you can probably get them anywhere. We've got some background music going on. Alright, so you just grab your tortilla, a 1/3 cup, measuring cup. Scoop that in, pop it on, just like that. Bit of a roll, and that's it. Pretty easy, yeah? So you keep going until your filling's gone, your tortillas are used up, and then we're going to brush the rest of the sauce on top. And I've saved a little bit of grated cheese to go just on the top at the end, and then you bake it. And that's it. So nice, easy, simple. Has the good black beans in it, so legumes. It's always kind of hard. I know I have a little boy, and it's kind of, he loves his rice and beans, but sometimes we get a bit fussy. Yes, darling? Okay, you can go and ask Grandma in the back, and she'll give you some. He's a bit hungry. He'd like some dinner. All right, well, I'm going to finish these quickly. Did you want to call Vivian in to the pancakes? I can. Well, bear with me. Let me just quickly finish this, and then I'll be moving on to the dessert. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, thank you. So normally this mixture is about a packet of 10. Oh, there you go, look, it's already set. So you can see it's firming up already, bit rubbery. Yeah, normally the mixture is enough for about a set of 10 tortillas. Which makes just a bit bigger baking tray at home. I'm pretty sure you can use other variety of beans. It might just taste a little bit different, but if you don't have black beans at home, kidney beans or whatever beans you've got, pinto beans, I'm pretty sure they would all kind of work.
Can I just interrupt?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'll just grab this.
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed, but on your way in, there's a big vase with rosemary in it, just at the door. If you like, on your way out, you can all grab a branch, take it home. You can use it in your cooking. You can actually plant it as well, if you'd like. To plant it, very easy. Just break a sprig off. Take the bottom leaves off, bottom ones, not the top ones, bottom ones, and put that in the ground. That's all you have to do. And you can put that in your cooking, what you took off. Very easy. So on your way out, don't forget, just help yourself to a sprig of rosemary on your way out. Okay, looks like this is done. Good on you, Amy.
It's all done. I just had to wash my hands. Okay. Sorry. We are. Sharing is caring. Sorry. Okay, so just grab the sauce and just brush over the top. Now my colander that I strained it with had a hole in the bottom, so that's why I've got some beans in here, but that's all right. And just brush some sauce over the top. Leftover cheese, sprinkle. And just baking paper, foil, pop it in the oven for about 20 minutes. And then for the last probably 10 minutes, take the baking paper and foil off just so the cheese browns up a little bit. And you get that toasty cheese. So I'll give you that to pop in the oven, please. Thank you. Oh, that rosemary smells good.
Very strong.
It's very strong. Yep, no problem. All right, moving on to dessert. As we all know, we like dessert. I like dessert. All right, so for tonight, I only need one of these. We are doing a caramelized banana and chia pancake. And we are also going to show you how to do a vegan peanut butter ice cream. Very excited about that. All right, so first up, we'll do our pancakes, and then Vivian will come out and show you the ice cream. So we're going to use, actually first, I'll explain about the chia. So we have already pre-soaked this, was 1 tablespoon of chia and 3 tablespoons of water. And it's gone almost like a jelly. Can you see that? Okay, so we need to do that first, so it sits, so it expands. While that's doing that, we add our 3/4 of a cup unbleached white flour. We add our wholemeal flour, which is 1/4 of a cup. We add the tablespoon of brown sugar. If you don't want to put sugar in, you don't have to. It just adds to the sweetness. We put in 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of bicarb soda, pinch of salt, or 1/4 teaspoon, just a tiny bit of salt. And we're just going to mix all of that together, just combine it. Oops. Give it a good mix. Now, has anybody ever heard of soya milk buttermilk? I haven't. But my mum, very brainy lady, she said, oh, that's easy to do. And I said, how do you make buttermilk from soya milk? And she said, you just get your milk and you add lemon juice. And it coagulates it and it turns into buttermilk. So I thought that was very, very clever. So to our 1 cup of soy milk, we're just going to add, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to that. Just grab a spoon. And you'll see it'll just slowly thicken it up. Can you see that? Yeah. So it just thickens it up, not so runny. So I learnt something this week. Okay, so we're going to add, that was melted margarine. Okay, we're going to add our melted butter, our chia seeds, so that was 2 tablespoons of melted butter, our chia seeds, if I can get it out, use the spoon, and then we're going to add our our vegan buttermilk to that mixture. Okay, and to this mixture we'll just whisk it around and combine it. And then we will add it to our mixture. Now we don't want to mix it too much when they're together. Okay, so just combine. And just slowly combine it together into a batter. Okay. Easy? Yeah, I thought so too. Okay, so we're going to pop our pan on. Okay, that's on. And we're just going to do it on a low heat because it needs to cook through. Get your banana. Okay. And we're just going to slice that while our pan's heating up. Just peel that one. And we're going to just do it into slices. That's it. Oh, sorry. And just pop our banana, ready to go. Okay. Do I have, here we go. Don't worry, all good. Spatula. Now, what size should I do? Okay. So, for tonight, we've done little mini ones for you all to taste. You can do whatever size pancake you like. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm using a 1/4 cup measure. If you want them all the same, do that. Otherwise, you can estimate it. If you want all different sizes, it's completely up to you. Yeah, you just got to judge it when it's cooked. That's all. Thank you. So we're just going to slightly spray our pan. We'll just get our scoop of batter and pop it on in the middle. There we go. And that'll slowly sit and cook. We get our banana slices, and you can even make, if you've got kids, make funny faces with the bananas, but you can just put them nicely around. You can add more or less depending how many you like or don't like. You cannot put them at all if you don't like the banana. And that's it. So we wait until the edges go a little bit harder, and then we'll flip it over. So that's pretty much it. Easy? Okay, I hope some of you will try this out this week. It's good for breakfast, dinner, if you want to make a batch and freeze them and then get them out. If you don't want to go through this every time you make them, I'm sure that would work as well. Okay. Can you get the buttons, please? Thank you. All right, so I'm going to just be here doing this, and we'll set up the ice cream. Yes? I haven't tried, but let me know. I'm sure it would be no problem. I think it would be fine, but a lot of times it's trial and error. If you want to use all wholemeal as well, I think that would work as well. So yeah, trial and error pretty much, but a lot of these recipes adapt really well. Okay, so that's getting there. You can see the edges slowly underneath. I haven't done one on this stove yet, so you know how always your first one never turns out? So fingers crossed this one actually turns out. I'm just going to spray the top a little bit so it caramelizes the banana. And here we go. Wish me luck. There we are. Can you see that? Now the banana is going to cook from underneath, and it'll be a beautiful pancake. Okay, Vivian, Ah. It's roughly about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, depending. When I did the small ones, I just did little spoonfuls of mixture all around, 1 banana in each, and then you just let them all go through it.
Okay, can you all hear me? Ish, maybe? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I've got the last recipe again for the evening, and it's another ice cream. You tell I like sweets. And if anyone knows me, they know I love peanut butter. So this ice cream is my jam. Really, really simple. Again, like last week's one, not as instant. This is one you have to freeze after you've blended it all together, but still, it's really easy. So if you think ahead in advance, you make it up a few hours before you need it, the day before or whatever, and it's ready to go.
You don't need an ice cream maker.
Yes, you don't need an ice cream maker. Bonus, just stick it in your freezer. Okay, so to begin, we'll start with the unsweetened almond milk. You can mix any kind of nuts into this. We've done peanut butter because it's a really tasty one. It's peanut butter and cashew nut butter, but you can do it with almonds, all cashews, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts would make a really good one. Anyway, so I've got a 1/2 cup measure here. And then a full cup measure, so that's 1.5 cups total of unsweetened almond milk. Splashy there. Okay. And then we've got 1¼ cup of medjool dates. Made sure we've pitted these before we've used them. Don't want any chunky bits of date pit through it. Medjool dates are a really good alternative to sugar, to sweeten recipes, dessert recipes. I really like using them in things. Next we've got, oh yes, that's Amy's delicious pancake there. Next we've got the all-natural peanut butter. We've bought ours. This is, it's an all-natural 100% peanuts peanut butter. There's nothing else in this one. You can make it yourself if you have the time. But this is this one, and we're putting in, it is a 1/2 cup. It has been measured out, and we just put it back into the container so we can show you what it looks like, the brand we bought. Oh, so sticky. Oh, nothing. Amy will keep going. Uh-oh.
Oh, I was, but that's all right.
Okay, that's really sticky. Then we're putting in the raw cashew nut butter. This is actually a homemade one. There's a little recipe on the bottom of that to tell you how to make your own cashew butter. But like I said, you can substitute the cashews for pretty much any nut. And if you've got a blender like a Vitamix here, all you do is whiz the nuts until they come together. Yes. Good point. I did put 1.5. I should have put 2.5. Thank you. I will add an extra cup. Sorry, I need my cup measure. Good pickup, everyone. Paying attention. I like it.
We're just testing you, really.
Okay. Then I need to put in the vanilla. It's just 2 teaspoons. Yes, you can get rid of that. That is a teaspoon. So 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Right in there. She's my spoon. She's too efficient. Sorry, this is the cashew butter.
So, let me borrow that.
Yep, go for it.
So for the cashew butter, yesterday we put 3 cups of cashews into a food processor and just let it go, and it turns into its own butter. With this one, it was a bit dry, so I think we added about a tablespoon of water just to get it going. But it was very simple and a lot cheaper than the one that you actually buy from the shop. So if you want, you can prepare it quite a few days in advance, keep it in your fridge, and it lasts for quite a while.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, last ingredient, just to balance the flavors out, is 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Yes, sorry, is that a hand? Yes. Peanuts. Same way as the cashews. The cashew butter, just, you don't need to. You might need to add the tiniest bit of water just to help it combine, but go sparingly, otherwise it can become too runny. So just, I think Lydia said about a tablespoon, and just be really, add it slowly so that you can see what's happening as you mix it. But yeah, with any nut you can do that. All right, now we just blend it all together. Okay, so we'll have that blending for a few minutes. Okay, so depending on how smooth you actually want it, you can blend it longer or shorter. If you do actually like it crunchy, you can do it to this stage and then pour it into a bowl and stir in some peanut pieces or whatever nut pieces. You could do it with fruit. It might be nice to do maybe a cashew version and mix in some frozen strawberries, like a strawberries and cream version. Maybe a hazelnut ice cream and stir through like a carob swirl, like a Nutella kind of style, chocolate and hazelnut. And that's it. Just pour it into your prepared container. Again, like last week, use a plastic one. A glass one might crack in the freezer. We've had, I think we put there, 6 to 8 hours to have it sitting in the freezer, but I think when we did it yesterday, it was only a couple of hours and it was pretty good to go.
The thinner you do it, the quicker it freezes.
Yeah.
So if you want it in a hurry, just do it nice and thin and it goes pretty fast.
Oh, that smells so good.
Peanut butter.
Yep. Ta-da! And that's it. So you'll be trying some really soon. Any other questions?
Now, if you don't like dates, I'm sorry, you can't actually taste them, but it will not work with different alternative sweeteners, as it's the actual medial dates that make it a no-churn ice cream. So it doesn't go really hard and icy because of the dates. So that was something else I learnt this week. That means that you don't need the ice cream maker, because of the dates. So I hope you enjoy your dessert. You can put coconut oil. It might change the taste of the actual ice cream and the liquid quantity, but by all means, trial and error. It really works well. So how is it? Yum? If you just want to have the pancakes with some maple syrup, that works as well. So I'll pass the mic on to, I think, Nathan. Is he here? And he's going to close the night. There we go. Oh, perfect. Thank you all.
Okay. Good? All right. Excellent. That smells good, looks good. I like it. Well, that's it for tonight. Look, next week, final night of the series of 3. Please don't miss that. We're also inviting everyone, if you'd like to come out, we're having a Visitors' Day here at the church on the 27th of October. There's little leaflets on the table, so just have a look. It's actually on the Saturday and also on the Sunday we're having something, so have a look there. You'd be most welcome. Come along. We'd love to spend a bit more time with you. We have food. We have, all sorts of things too. So 3 things I have to remember. What's the second one? I can remember the third one. Oh, yes. All right. I have to stand here for the filming, but yeah. All right. Don't forget to grab a sprig of rosemary on the way out. All right. And I didn't know you could just stick it in and it would grow. So why not, and you have it fresh. The only thing is, all right, Joe, I'm going to move, bro. All right, I can come over here. The only thing is that think about where you plant a rosemary because they can grow. They can quite grow. I really appreciate everyone's support and donations. We are not-for-profit here, so drop a gold coin or something more significant in the box. That's always appreciated. Just help us to buy our things here. But by all means, enjoy, and we'll see you next week. Good night. Oh, yeah, chia. Yeah, we'd sell chia downstairs, all right? So help yourself downstairs. If you haven't been down there, it's from the car park, as you face the building from the car park down below, it's the door to the right. From here, it's just down the steps. So through the breezeway, down the steps, if you haven't been there, swing around to the right. Yes? Salad dressings. Somebody help me out. I don't know if we stock a salad dressing down there. That's a negative. No. Like I said, sometime in the near future, we're upgrading the facilities downstairs, so I think there'll be room to stock more things. So if you want to talk to Elaine, I should know her, Aunt Elaine, just put a little word, there she is, Aunt Elaine, over here behind Susan. Yes, anything you might think you would like us to stock down here, who knows, she might take that on board. So, opening hours, so the office downstairs, someone's here Monday to Friday, normal business hours up to midday on Friday. Okay, someone's around, and people can sort of drop in. Elaine's here on Wednesdays. From what time, Auntie Elaine? All day long on Wednesdays. Great time to catch up with her. Good time to come to the shop on Wednesdays. But yeah, business hours except up to about midday on Friday. All right? And there's always someone at the office, and they'll be happy to help you. All right. Very good. Like I said, that's it for tonight. We'll see you next week. So as we do, we'll just finish with a prayer. Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you so much for teaching us, for giving us great food, for giving us fellowship as we share together here, and as we learn things about how to take care of ourselves. So bless each person here, bless the rest of their week, and all the families here represented. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you all. Good night.